told me to write this book. And I remember fighting with the Lord, saying, Lord, I'm not writing that book. I'm not putting these people in my business. They don't need to know, because it just feel better to keep up this facade. It feel better to be somebody that I'm not. It feel better to operate out of imposter syndrome. It just felt better to me. But God wouldn't allow no door to open for me until I wrote that book. And that book is called The Cries from a Gracefully Broken Woman. And I remember writing that book. And I remember God bringing things back to my remembrance as I wrote that book. And I remember crying out, shaking, almost feeling like I was going to die when I wrote that book, because I was dealing with my mess and I was exposing things that I had held on for years. I was exposing things that were weighing me down. I was exposing things that was ultimately going to kill me. And I did not realize that it was all a process to get me to my purpose. So I ended up publishing that book. The first time I published it, it went terrible. Like, literally, the publishing company, their edits was terrible at that time. However, I did not give up, because I knew that God had gave me that vision, and I believed God for that vision, and I knew that if I did not fulfill that, nothing was going to break for my life. I did that, and then I remember my ex being in prison, and he called me from prison, and I found out he had a woman pregnant. Talk about can't eat, can't sleep, can't breathe. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I could not breathe. However, I laid down, and I was just so hurt. And I was even hurt even though this man had physically abused me, broke my tooth, and so much more. Like, I was so hurt because I found my value in being his woman. I found my value in sexing him. I found my value in cooking for him. I found my value in being belittled by him. And a